Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And we're looking at Wonderful World again. It's a free stamp set and papers as well, so designer series paper. And it's in the new mini catalogue. Let me just grab my little mini catalogue out. So Saleabration runs July to the end of August, so you get 2 months. And this one is, whoops, there we go. It's on here. So you get all of these lovely papers. I've done a few things with the papers. I'm going to be doing some more. And you get the stamp set as well. So it's a double one. And you get it for a qualifying spend of £90. So if you spend £90 on things in the new mini catalogue, which has got all the Christmas lovelies in there, you can get both of these for free. So really worth thinking about. And I thought I would show you a fun idea with the Wonderful World. We've done one with this. Now we're going to do one with the rose and something that you probably didn't think of. So I try and do things that are, you can obviously stamp the rose out and do the leaves in a different colour. You can do it with the side of the marker pens. And, you know, or as I say, do it with sponge daubers, 2 different colours, and you've got a pretty rose. I thought I'd do something a little bit different. So we're doing the rose. And I'm just going to put it on the block like this. Now, I have taken, because we need 2 pieces of white cardstock for this, and you can do it 1/4 inch or you can do it 1/2 inch. I'm doing it 1/2 inch. So you want 1 which is your standard size, so that when you put it on your mat, and I'm doing this with crumb cake. So let me show you my standard crumb cake mat, and then I always do everything 1/4 inch smaller. So wherever you are in the world, whatever size card you want to do, you want to have 1/4 inch mat on here. You then need to take another piece of white, and you're going to cut that 1/2 inch smaller. Okay, so whatever is 1/2 inch. As I say, you can do it 1/4 inch. I'm doing 1/2 inch because I think it's slightly easier, because you have a wider margin to then play with. So we'll take the smaller piece, and we are going to take crumb cake, and we are literally just going to, so ink this up nicely, and we are just going to stamp it all the way down. Take a little piece off on there, just like that. Okay, so you've got all it's stamped down just sort of roughly. Now you can take it in different, I've done it all the same way. If you wanted to do one direction, one the other direction, you can. There's no real sort of right or wrong to this. We're just going to take it like that. Then let me grab my Simply Chamois so I can clean it off. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we are going to, we need our sponge daubers. Let me just grab my sponge daubers. So we want just get my crumb cake one out. Okay, so I've got that ready to go. And we can then use the crumb cake, and we're going to go just around the sides with it. Now you want to do it flat, so I'm doing it flat all the way round. Now you can do this at the end because there is another, obviously there's the cutting to do, and like everything, cutting is down to personal preference of how you cut it. I'm going to show you something that I think is a fairly easy way to do it. You just have to remember which way it goes once you cut it. So I'm literally just going round the edge of this because I want it to come slightly in to give it that sort of distressed look. Okay, so we now have it like this. I'm just going to turn this in a bit. Probably used most of this. Let me just turn it in this way so it's not making quite so much of a mess. Right, let's put it down like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to take our watercolour pencils and I'm going to take two colours out of here. I'm going to take the Melon Mambo and I'm going to take the Daffodil Delight, and then I'm going to have the Granny Apple Green for the leaves. So side of the pencil like this. You don't want to do it like this because it will become liney. So side of the pencil, and you're very gently just going to colour in where the leaves are. And I've chosen Granny Apple Green because you've got the crumb cake underneath, and where I did it with if you do it with something like Old Olive, it's going to come too dark. So you literally, and you can see I'm not spending a huge amount of time on this. It doesn't have to be overly precise. You're literally just taking the outside of your pencil so that then it's not, it doesn't become lined, and you're literally just giving it a bit of colour, and we want the colour to be quite vintage, so that's why it's you don't want it too bright. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is the Daffodil Delight, and you're going to take the inside again with the side of your pencil. You're just going to take the inside like this. So not too far down. You take it down a little bit. Again, there's no particular rights and wrongs to this, however you want to do it. So we've got a couple that are just going off the edge like that. Okay, and then we're going to take the Melon Mambo, and again it's a darker colour, so you want to start really quite lightly because we don't want it to be lined. So you need to just give it quite a soft look, particularly on the piece at the front. You can see how it doesn't matter so much when you're going over the yellow, but this little piece on the front, if you're not careful, you'll get it quite lined, and you can always add more, but you want to do it quite gently so it doesn't look liney. So it looks as if, as I say, it's just like a vintage sepia wash. And quite often when you're doing sepia, which is that what crumb cake is in old vintage pictures and things, they do quite often do what they call tinting. So you tint the picture and you have this sort of lovely, just subtle look about it, which is nice. Okay, so that's that bit done. Now we need to take our trimmer and we're going to do some cutting. So we could keep it just like it is, but it's you know, it's a little bit plain. So let's do something a little bit more exciting with it. So we are going to take it from one corner to the other. So literally just take your corners and line them up with the track here. So one corner to there and the other corner to there. Put your trimmer down and just make sure it's up. I've got my head at an angle, so I'm hoping it's going to be perfect. Okay, so we've now got it in half that way, and then we're going to take it from that point just down, and it doesn't matter whether it's completely accurate or not. but that's one piece, and turn it round so that we don't lose where it is. And then this is the other piece, so again we're going to take it from that little point there, and we're going to just trim that down to there. Okay, so we've got that one in coming that way, which obviously will be the one at the top. Okay, so I can take these pieces off and hopefully remember which way they go. If you like doing those puzzles, and I'm completely cat-handed with those sorts of things, but I'm sure I shall work it out. So what we need to do now is we need to take our sponge dauber again, and we're going to go round those edges with the sponge dauber. So we can take it right the way round on here. And all the way down on this one. And then what I tend to do is I will take it up to get a dark bottom edge as well. I want it to come over the edge, which is why I do it flat, but then I like to take it from the edge as well. Okay, and then we can do this one. And that way, and again just going through down on the edge, because that makes all of the difference. Okay, so then we need to have a look and think where that one went. It was on that way, wasn't it? Was it on that way or was it on that way? It's that. Yes, we'll work it out in a minute. As I say, I'm not very good. You can mark the pieces underneath, might be an idea actually. I might do that if I do it again, is to mark the paper underneath so I can see exactly what way they go. And then we'll take this one, and again we've only got a couple of edges to do on this because we've done the other ones. So and we can take this one in. Around the edge. And we've done that one. Okay, so then we need to put these onto our inside piece, which I have. What have I done with the inside? Oh, it's there, isn't it? The outside piece, we've already done that. Okay, so we need to put these in on, let's find out which bit goes. Okay, that goes in on there. So we've got that comes up that way, that goes across there, and then we need to leave a little bit of a gap. So we'll do the other one exactly the same way. That's going to come up that way. And then that piece is going to go down the bottom. Okay. So what we need to do though is we need to try and keep the distance the same. So I tend to mark it out first like that, and then I will work out which piece I'm going to put in first. I think I'm going to put this one in. So I'm just going to glue it. And it just adds, it just makes a different look. And as I say, it's quite pretty and vintage. So let's make sure I've got it right again. Yes, I have. So I need to make sure that I've got my distances right and there's the right sort of border at the side. So if you can see how I'm looking from the top to the bottom to make sure that it's even. Okay, now I can do this top piece. And again, we're just going to glue it round. So I want to make sure that it's lined up nicely with the top piece on here, and that my edges are straight. Like that. Do this one now. Now you could do different coloured cardstock at the back if you wanted to. I've done it this way because I think it gives that sort of quite nice vintage look, and you can see where you need to line it up because you want your roses to be nicely lined up. And then we've just got this piece to go down on the bottom. And you can cut your pieces as small as you want. You know, if you want to do them all again and have some quite, you know, tiny little pieces in there, you can do. I think 4 just looks quite nice and gives you that little bit of a difference. I need to just make sure that my edges are reasonably straight and we've got our lines coming through, but because we've now we've sponged around the edges, it stands out quite nicely. Now if we then take our base of crumb cake and put that on there, you can see how you've got a really quite nice looking card on there. And then all we're going to do is we're going to take the sentiment. I've got a little sentiment of happy birthday. Now I've put that, as you can see, there is a bit of a space on there, because what I would do is we'll take another one and we need to have a little scrap of, what have I got? I've got some scrappy pieces down here. So I'm going to take the image again and we'll stamp it out, make sure I've given it a good old so that's stamped out like that. And let me get my Simply Chamois while it gives a second for it to dry. It's a beautiful image though, isn't it? It really is quite pretty. I think it's makes it look really nice with that sort of vintage look about it. Okay, so I would do exactly the same thing. So we've got our, oh, I've got them out. Granny apple green for the leaves. Again on the outside. Just take them in. And this bit is obviously optional. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, because I know, as I say, a lot of people don't like the fussy cutting side of things and they try and avoid it. But if you don't mind a little bit of fussy cutting, so again, making sure I do it quite lightly so I don't get a ridge on there in the colours. Okay, and then I just need my paper snips, which are about somewhere. What have I done with them? I had them here just a second ago. Here they are. Right, okay, so then all you need to do is to fussy cut it out. So I shall show you that you don't have to take, I always leave a little bit of a border and I turn my paper as I go. So I know that a lot of people don't like fussy cutting, but I just thought I'd show you it doesn't take very long to do. So I'm just leaving a little bit of a border, not a huge amount, turning it as I go. Okay, and if I don't want this piece on there, I just take it out, pick it up again, because again, I know a lot of you struggle when you get round there. So we don't need to do it too overly precise. So take it to the corner and literally just turn your paper all the way round. And this is going to be a nice little one round on here. So I'm taking that up. Again, just turning my paper as I go. But you can see I'm not overly worrying about it. Turn it round again. Take it down to there. But you can see it doesn't take a huge amount of time. Now I'm rushing this. I would spend a little bit more time, but I'm not, I just wanted to show you that it's not, I know that a lot of people have turned around and said, you know, I struggle with fussy cutting. Now I'm finding, you know, as we age, our eyesight gets worse, so that our fussy cutting is not as good because our eyes aren't as good. But you can still, you know, you don't have to go right the way down into these little pieces if you don't want to. You can leave it a little bit wider, so you're not going to take it off. So there's me getting it round on this little bit here. So I take it round on here. And just up in like that. Okay, so that's done. And then what I would do is to just put that in where I've just stamped the other one, and I'd put that up with a dimensional. So just add a little dimensional on there and put this one up just on the flower, so that it just, I could turn that down a bit, because that just happens to be, I've stamped it right on that piece, so that's quite nice. And then just put it on there, and you've got, you know, a fun card, which is quite subtle, but again is quite pretty. Now I'll show you the one that I did, which was to start off with, because that is just a little bit lighter. And do you remember I was saying I did this one with them facing in different directions, so I turned it round from one to the other. So I'll just show you that on, oh, I've got them on the base as well, so I can put it up next to each other so you can see the difference. You don't have to, there we go, you don't have to just do them all in the same direction. You can turn them round, you know, you can have them, this one was only cut sort of across on there, whereas this you've got 3 different pieces at the bottom, so you can flip them around. And as I say, just put your sentiment in where you want it. And I've just done this as a happy birthday, and just do your little fussy cutted piece out. And that's the other one that I did, which, as I say, I can put whatever sentiment I want on there. So a fun card for you to make. And another idea with this Wonderful World stamp set. So we've done this one, we've done this one. I think we'll have to use this one next time. So as always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye.